Hey, man down. Stop that cat. Errol Spence with the clap back. Claps at Blair. What's the name? Flair. Blair the Flair. Woo! Cobbs. In this video, I'm going to explain what's going on. Errol Spence, Blair the Flair, the back and forth. Of course, y'all want my opinion. So check this video. I'm going to get into the ballistics. I'm gonna kick the ballistics in this video, and we're going to talk about it like one big happy family. Errol Spence with the clapback. Now, what up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Before I get started, looked at my YouTube analytics. It shows about half of you are subscribed. Appreciate y'all. Half of you guys that have watched my content in the last 28 days are not subscribed to the channel. So you need to indicate, I don't know if you forgot or whatever happened. Sometimes YouTube unsubscribes people. Check right now before we get started in the video and let me know if you're subscribed in the comment section. If you've been unsubscribed or if you had issues like that, let me know so I could contact YouTube. Now, without further ado, now, I hate to toot my own horn, but I think this is just my opinion. I made this graphic, and then I actually posted this on my Instagram at Boxingego1, follow me. And I also made a video that came out like first thing in the morning. And then coincidentally, Errol Spence has responded. Now, keep in mind, Blair the Flair said this stuff about a week ago, but I'm just getting, caught up. And conveniently, the day or the morning that I posted this, somebody I think must have sent it. Either Errol watched it or somebody sent it to him and seen what he was saying and then decided to respond. So let's get into that. This is what Errol Spence had to say in his clap back. We gon' clap back. We gon' clap back. Verified Twitter. Evident by the blue check mark. Yeah, Instagram and YouTube gotta stop playing with me, give me my blue check mark. Anywho, undefeated Errol Spence, 27-0. He says, man, y'all, this is funny. Y'all listening to a 33. Errol's trying to sing on him. Hold on. Errol trying to get him. He trying to get him. I like Texas because Texas is kind of like the Bay Area. There's some similarities there. Like New York, Texas, and the Bay, we all kind of have, like, you don't want to play the dozens, the roast game and stuff like with people from the Bay, for sure. I'm from the Bay, you dig. And in Texas and New York, they got it too. So he said, man, y'all listening to a 33-year-old prospect. He said a 33-year-old prospect. That's hilarious. Crying emoji. Media has to stop being so thirsty for content. He said, look, he looks up to Ric Flair. He said, I don't know. So I don't know if that's a shot, be thirsty for content. I talk about everything, the latest and greatest. So, to each his own. But then he said, I read Buddy's backstory. If I'm cursed, what the F he think got going on with him, right? And that's the reality. So what he said, what Blair Cobbs said was, Errol Spence has had to face some demons outside of the ring with alcoholism and this and that and dealing with hurt and all these other things. So we have to see what happens to him when he's tested outside of the ring. So I don't even really understand what he was saying. And I think it's healthy to have certain conversations. Like, my thing is this, I said kind of what Errol Spence is saying. You got a guy who's undefeated. He grew up watching wrestling. I did the video, whatnot. So make sure you check the first video out. But he grew up watching wrestling, and he's trying to bring that. He's clearly like a wrestler. You know what I mean? He's trying to bring that. He has the antics, and it's not just Errol. He's been going in. He said he want to see Errol tested. He want to see Vergil Ortiz tested and pushed. He said he want to see Jaron Ennis in the ring. And Jaron Ennis, I seen they had like a little altercation. He said, we sparred and you know what happened. Like, I don't even know why you asking for this. But to each his own. Errol Spence, I guess a fan said, that man ain't no dang 33, bruh. In response, oh, that's to Mike Reed. Yes, indeed, Reed. He said he ain't 33, but he actually is. I said that in my video too. He is actually older than I thought. I thought he was in his 20s. He looked young, so credit to him for that. Blair Cobbs looked young, but he said 32, 33, whatever, LOL. So at the end of the day, Errol Spence did respond. He's not going to spend much time on a guy like Blair the Flair, because at the end of the day, Errol Spence, he fighting for undisputed. And like I said in my last video, in the past video, it really makes no sense for Errol Spence to fight Blair Cobbs. Like, there's a lot of weakness in boxing right now. And, you know, I think I'm the strength and the voice in boxing to eradicate some of that or silence that noise. But what I mean in weakness is, yeah, I cover everything. So, you know, I talked about it as well, but I wasn't even going to talk about it at first. I told you, I literally said that in the video. Like, I didn't even know if I was going to make a video about it, but, you know, I decided to, because at the end of the day, the fans run the channel. So when people keep getting at me, asking for my opinion, then, you know, I make the content. To each his own, though. I don't know what other people do, but you guys keep, if I look at my inbox and there's like 40 of y'all, then there's clearly, I'm a businessman. You know that because you find me at my places of business. Like Pac said, I'm a businessman. This is my job. This is my business. This is my baby, Hillary Swank. There's $1 million in it, baby, Hillary Swank. This is what I do. So when enough of you guys reach out with any topic, you know, not to be TMZ and go the TMZ route, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about all the stuff that y'all want me to, because if you live in, you know, Chicago or something, and people are like, oh, we want deep dish pizza, and you come out with a deep dish pizza plate, you're gonna make profit. So that's what it is. But for Errol Spence, like I talk about, even though I talk about different things, I also give you my opinions, and I'm the best at doing that. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Bret Hart voice. And I sound like Blair Cobbs. I sound like a wrestler. The reality is, I said what I said as well, is like just what Errol Spence is saying. The man is 30 something with 15 fights, got dropped in one of his fights. Golden Boy, in my opinion, don't really move black fighters in no serious way, to the point where they have to do all this extra. He has to, you know, do the Lenny Kravitz hair and American woman, stay away from me. Like, he has to do woo and all that. Errol Spence, he don't even have to do none of this. Like, I mean, part of it is personality, because Floyd, Floyd wasn't on no wrestling, but Floyd, he actually was on wrestling, literally. He slapped the Big Show or whatever. But what I mean is, to each his own. I don't think Errol Spence's character is to be all turned up in front of cameras and doing all that. I really don't. But he turns up when need be. You know what I mean? Blair the Flair, Golden Boy ain't really moving him, so he got to do all this extra hoopla and things like that. But the point is, again, I explained to you, and I don't normally explain myself, but I'm explaining so you guys understand. When I make videos, there's a purpose for it, because there's a demand for it. You know, if it's a content that either I myself don't think is hot, or you guys aren't bombarding me with, then the video probably won't get made. So if you guys have opinions on that, you can leave me a comment. But there are people, even though I make the content, there's a lot of people that are ridiculous in what they think should happen. They telling me that Errol Spence should fight Blair Cobbs next. Like, what are you all talking about? That's what I'm talking about when I say weakness in the boxing game. A lot of people opinions sound weak as hell. Like, it just it's foolish. It's poppycock. It makes no sense. Why would Errol Spence be worried about Blair Cobbs for real? If anything, people want to see him fight Terrence Crawford. Some even want to see him fight Jaron Ennis, whoever. Maybe he moves to 54. But if we're being honest, even with the gags and the Blair Cobbness or whatever, the wrestling stuff he's doing, people are telling Errol off of this, like, some of y'all live, I suggest you all get your own business, and you'll be able to see how things run a little bit different, and you'll be in a different state of mind. Some people give their attention to weird stuff, and I maybe sound hypocritical because I'm making content about it, but I also, in the content, let you know that Errol Spence shouldn't be checking for Blair Cobbs. But there you got real life boxing fans that are like, oh yeah, Errol needs to fight him next. Yeah, that's a great fight for him. And I'm like, what? Just because he talks some trash? That's not real boxing. And he's not even aligned. You see what happened with the Jermall Charlo, Jaime Munguia Golden Boy fight. So I highly doubt that something like that happens. And you don't just necessarily talk your way into a fight. Occasionally it'll happen where somebody and some two fighters done beefed on Twitter or Instagram so tough that the fight manifested, but more often than not, that doesn't happen. Occasionally it happens, like with consistent call outs. Sean Porter kept calling out Danny Garcia, then they fought. And Mikey Garcia kept saying he wanted to fight. I see something. And wanted to fight Errol, and then he got what he was looking for. Not really, but he got what he was looking for. You know? So Blair Cobbs, he has to keep climbing up the ladder. That's my honest opinion. That's Errol Spence's clapback. I divulged all the information I know, gave you all my thoughts, and went over the subject. Errol Spence clapping back at Blair Cobbs. You know, people saying, oh, he needs to fight him and all that. That sounds foolish. Because the other dude, and I know him too, Maurice Victorious Lee from the Mayweather gym, it's the same thing. He was calling out Errol Spence saying, I want to beat you up and woom. But Errol Spence is like about to sell out AT&T Stadium. So he's like probably not going to fight guys unless they got their stature up. It makes all the sense in the world. If you disagree, let me know in the comment section. Subscribe because I'm the best in the business. And that's really all I got to say. And I'm out. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster.